A rational number is a number that can be expressed as a ratio of two integers. As you can see in the word rational, the first 5 letters, you can see the word ratio. So a rational number you can write as a fraction. To take a decimal to a fraction, we just use our knowledge of place value, and then we can simplify from there. Here are a few examples. The number 6, is this a rational number? Can I write it as a fraction? Well, if I put 6 over 1, right, that is a ratio of two integers. That is a fraction. Here I have the decimal 5/10. That 5 is in the tenths place, so I have 5/10. 5 over 10, which I can simplify to 1/2. 44 hundredths. This is the tenths place. This is the hundredths place. So I have 44 hundredths. 44 over 100. I would simplify from there. Both the numerator and the denominator are divisible by 4. And if I simplify, I would get 11/25. And final example here, I have negative 7.312. So I'm going to have negative 7, and that's what the decimal means, right? Negative 7 and tenths, hundredths, thousandths. I have 312 thousandths, so 312 over 1,000. And you can simplify that. You would simplify that to be negative 7 and 39 over 125. That would be in simplest form as a mixed number. Next key term is a terminating decimal. A terminating decimal is a decimal that ends or terminates or stops. To take a fraction to a decimal, we simply divide. We divide the top number by the bottom number, or we could say the numerator by the denominator. A couple examples, if we had the mixed number 6 3/4 and you want to write this as a decimal, you would have, of course, this would be equal to 6 point something, and that something would be whatever 3/4 is as a decimal. So I divide 3 by 4, or the top number by the bottom number. So the top number would go inside the division bracket, the bottom number would go outside. From here I would add placeholder zeros after the decimal so that I can divide. Remember, the decimal goes straight up into your quotient. It goes right there. 4 cannot go into 3, right? It goes in 0 times. 4 goes into 30 though 7 times. 7 times 4 is 28. I subtract, bring down that 0, and 4 goes into 20 exactly 5 times. So as you can see here, my remainder is 0. That tells me my decimal is stopping or terminating. So 6 3/4 is 6 and this, 6 and 75 hundredths. If I had the number negative 1 and 1/2, this would be negative 1 point whatever 1/2 is. I know that 1/2 is the same as 0.5, so negative 1 and 1/2 would be the same as negative 1.5. So we could have a terminating decimal, or we could have a repeating decimal. A repeating decimal is when you have a block of one or more digits that repeat infinitely. And terminating decimals and repeating decimals are both rational numbers. They can both be written as fractions. Just a couple examples here. The fraction 1/3. 1/3, if you divide, just like we did for terminating decimals, if you divide the top by the bottom, or 1 divided by 3, right? 1 divided by 3, and if you divide this, you would keep getting 3, right? No matter how many times, you would get 0.33 dot dot dot. It would keep going on and on and on. And so we use our repeating bar, right? 0.3, and the repeating bar goes only over the digit that repeats. You could also have more than one digit that repeats. If you did 75 over 99, you would get 0.75 repeating. So the decimal would read like 0.757575, on and on and on, infinitely. And the same thing here with 125 over 999. If you divide that, you would get 0.125 repeating. So it would go 0.125, 125, 125, 125 for all infinity. And so we use the repeating bar to be able to write that decimal.